Wrestling to the Max, Monday Night Raw Review.
Welcome, everyone, to Wrestling to the Max Raw Review, the October 3rd, 2016 edition, and we are excited to bring to you all the big stuff that happened on Raw. We're going to get into all the fun, crazy stuff when it comes to that main event. That's right, we got a Divas, it's not a Divas anymore, right? It's a Women's Championship match. I know, back in the day, there was another match that happened that was right around that time. So there you go. We got a Women's Championship match in the main event. We're going to get into that and a lot more on this episode of Raw. Plus, we always want to let you guys know, if this is your first time checking out this review, make sure you go W2M Network. That's right, this place you go. Subscribe to get all our Raw reviews, all our SmackDown Live reviews, and of course the every Monday and Thursday edition of the Wrestling to the Max episodes. So there you go, guys. That's some info. Plus, don't forget W2Mnet.com. That's the place where you get also other reviews, maybe some pay-per-view reviews that you're missing out on. Maybe you wanted to see some Bound for Glory stuff. Go there. Maybe you wanted to see a Ring of Honor's All-Star Extravaganza reviews. Another great place. So there you go. All the places that you want to find things are all on W2Mnet.com. But let's do this thing, guys. Let's talk some Raw.
Let's do that. So good to be back in a normal situation without having to be outside or in a car or something else doing a show. So the Raw was live from Los Angeles, California in the Staples Center. So you got the very mixed crowd that Los Angeles can be sometimes, where sometimes they chant for things that you're going, what the hell is going on here? And sometimes they go right along with what you expect. So Los Angeles is always fun to experience when they're there live doing for Raw or pay-per-view or whatever it is that you're there for at that moment. So running through the show right here, they have, I forgot who the champion is for Raw. I could have swore it was Kevin Owens, but it seems like every time we get Roman Reigns coming out here to start a show, they're not pushing Roman Reigns at all, guys, right? Like we're just, what happened to him like going down a peg with this stuff with the violation and all that? No, with Roman Reigns that doesn't happen. We're just gonna keep pushing this guy, and of all things, the dude gets booed out of the building. Lana comes out by herself, and she, came out in a spectacular outfit. She comes out to say, well, just letting you know, I'm out here, but Rusev doesn't know. Well, let me tell you, usually when you're saying that line about your husband not knowing something, is usually not a good thing. But apparently in this situation, it is, because she's putting out the challenge for Rusev and for him challenging for the U.S. title. Reigns kind of blows it off or makes it seem like it's not a big deal because he's beat Rusev a zillion times already. And eventually Rusev comes out and Rusev gets the upper hand, but we go to the ramp where Rusev is standing there, and from behind, Roman Reigns hits Rusev. Hey, I don't remember faces actually supposedly hitting people from behind, but Roman Reigns, he gets the opposite effect, I guess, right? I thought this was fine. Just I don't know. I'm not big on. They keep making me forget who the champion is when they keep doing this kind of stuff.
I don't think you're supposed to remember who the champion is. They want you to focus on Roman Reigns, and they want you to get excited about him. Here's the thing. I don't even really want to talk about it just because this is not interesting to me at all. But, I mean, I know I need to, and I'm going to. Sitting here watching this all take place, it's the same old shtick. There's nothing new. It's basically I'm trying stay away from the John Cena thing, but it really, honestly, the John Cena thing, it's hard to stay away from that. The corny jokes, the I'm better than everybody in the room. I am glorified because I'm my persona. I'm who I am, so you should pray. So that's the thing with Reigns I don't like, and I think it comes off really bad, especially when he's meeting Lana. He makes Rusev look awful, which sucks to me because Rusev is so much better than that. I'm kind of done with it just so I don't have to watch Rusev get beat down like this. I'm kind of ready to go and find someone else to pick on. That's kind of the way I feel about it. I know they want me to feel like I love Roman Reigns. He's so hot. I just love this guy. Go ahead. So, if I don't know, Paul, do you have the look? If you don't mind catching the review for me, that way I don't miss something.
yeah, I got it here in front of me.
So that's the way I feel about it, Paul. I mean, I think I'm just not into this, and maybe it's kind of stupid for me to say that because you know this already.
I think a lot of people probably aren't into this, and the crazy fact is they made this match at Hell in a Cell. This is how many of those are we going to get now is what I'm curious about, but I think Sean's right on the money. Who is your top guy? Because it certainly isn't Kevin Owens from this perspective.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And his point about, the fact that the first guy you see on your TV screen is not your champion. So what are you telling the crowd? You're telling the crowd, this is the guy we want you to care about. The other guy, he's here. Yeah, especially you got Kevin Owens in a tag team role right now. You're not even really focusing on him as a singles competitor. Mm-hmm. So that's another, not trying to pick on the WWE for this. I'm just saying it's an obvious situation where they're really trying to get Reigns over, and I understand it. And yes, there are more cheers for Roman Reigns. You hear them, and that's fine. I don't hate that. I'm not thrilled with this particular feud. Maybe Roman Reigns will face somebody else besides Rusev, and I'll be really into it, and I'll think, okay, I'm really enjoying what Reigns is doing. But right now, I'm just not thrilled with it.
I mean, I think you have every right to be. This was played out beyond belief at this point. They should have ended it after Reigns took the title, but apparently we have to do it one more time for whatever reason. Mostly because probably Rusev is just damaged goods at this point, and a strong win in Hell in a Cell is something they think is a good idea for Reigns.
Mm-hmm. You're right. All right, Sean, you back?
Yeah. Apparently certain phones do not work when customer service is not available. So.
Oh.
So, yeah. Anyway, that would be the only time we do see Roman Reigns and Rusev all night. So, at least you don't get a ton of them throughout the show. There is focus on other people, and the main event of this show is actually, and they, to their credit, they had hyped it up previously that it was Sasha Banks and Charlotte for the women's title, for the Raw women's title. So they have various segments throughout the show with this. They have Sasha and Bayley, and they kind of talk about how big it is that they're doing this match and they're main eventing Raw. And Bayley brings up the lead interest as the other women that have done this, and so I gotta hold on, guys. Keep on.
Go ahead. You're fine, man. Sorry about that, everybody. Sean's got some personal business he's trying to tend to right at this time, and that's fine. We knew about this coming in. But, here we are, and, I guess we can go ahead and get into this. They really did try to promote this match, this main event match between Charlotte and Sasha Banks, which they should. I mean, this is a title that is of significance. It's one that's supposed to matter. And I personally, Paul, I appreciate the fact that they gave the main event slot. I think it's something that needed to be done when you've got a title that is supposed to be kind of prestigious. And really, to me, it is prestigious. And it's a title that is actually being put up, whereas these other titles we saw on the show, the U.S. title, the Universal title, none of those were put up for grabs. So when a title is put up for grabs, it only makes sense to put it in the main event.
Yeah, One, it's great that they're doing this. I think they need to do this every so often. It really helps make it feel like this division matters. It feels like there's a focus here. And, despite the fact that it's really only been three girls, three or four, really sort of dancing around the championship right now. I feel like each of those girls really matters. They feel like they bring a lot to the brand, and I think that's what you want. And certainly, Sasha getting the belt back is the right move here. Charlotte hits a Sky Twister press that is incredible. So I mean, just 15 minutes in the main event and getting to put on a stellar match is really everything I think you could ask for out of this division right now.
I totally agree. And, watching this match, I mean, you're impressed by everything that Charlotte's doing, everything that Sasha's doing. Both of them proved in other places, NXT to be exact. And, of course, on this roster, that they deserve to be in the spotlight, that they deserve some of this big-time main event status. So I'm happy for them. They definitely deserved, and, of course, they earned, not just deserved, but they earned that spot because of what you saw in that match. So I was very impressed with them. I thought they did a great job. I was very happy to see that they did have Bayley included in this conversation. That kind of puts her in the realm of people understanding that maybe, Bayley is not just a behind-the-scenes player. She's not just a, average, woman on this roster. She is a main event player, and you're going to see her down the line. So I was happy to see that in some of these behind-the-scenes promos that they were doing. It made sense. So it's good stuff. I mean, overall, I think they did two different ones. They had Sasha and Bayley do a little promo together, and, of course, they had Charlotte and her sidekick there, Dana Brooke, do one with Bayley as well. So,
and
pretty big deal tonight for them.
With all four, with us, Bayley involved, and one with Charlotte and Dana, where it ends up where that's how Dana doesn't get involved, is that Bayley takes Dana out because Dana keeps taunting her and stuff. So, which I thought was a great way to remove Dana from the situation without having to involve Bayley as well. Don't make it convoluted. They just made it a main event between the two women, and that's how it should have been. It turns out into a great match for your main event of the show. Sasha Banks, once again, your women's champion on Raw, which it's kind of one of these things like, okay, she can't beat you at the pay-per-view, but she can beat you on Raw. I know that Raw technically is, I guess, the bigger show at this point, unless you're talking about the Big Four, but it kind of bothers me a little bit. Other than that, I mean, they gave you everything you want in a match like this. I don't think it was. I still think that first one on Raw was a little bit better, but we're talking about a little bit here and there, but it's still something to be proud of for them. Second consecutive great match on a Raw. Sasha wins, and I guess now let's see what they do for Hell in a Cell. I'm going to guess they're going to do the rematch there to finally end things. And whoever comes out champion there, you're finally going to move on.
You think they put him in the cell?
Oh, that's one thing I didn't talk about. I don't know if you guys talked about it while, I was away. But that is the first Hell in a Cell match announced for the show. So you'd imagine that the main event with the actual Raw World Champion would be the other Hell in a Cell match. I don't know that they would do 3 of them, but if they were to do 3, again, I said it before, a way to make this really stand out. They have the history. Michael Cole wonderfully brought that up in the match, by the way. I thought that was great that they brought in NXT into that and everything. They have everything that you want as far as this is there for you to have a Hell in a Cell match. Would they take the step and say the women really are equal to the men, put them there? I really hope they do, but I don't know if they're ready for that yet. Not ready. I think WWE is not itself ready for that yet.
What do you think, Gary?
I'm kind of with Sean. I'm not sure that they're ready for that. I think that would be fun to see, and I would love it. But, of course, I don't have any power or any influence. So I think, that will be in the future. But just I don't see it right now.
I think if there's any feud for you to do in across both women's divisions right now, Sasha and Charlotte makes the most sense to do it at Hell in a Cell. And I'm with you guys. I don't know if WWE is ready to be that progressive, but I certainly think if any women's title match in the next 2 to 3 years had a chance of doing it, it would be these two girls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally
Yeah,
agree.
I mean, I agree with that. I think it'd be great. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I think, we'll have to see if they ever, do come to that quicker than later. That makes me, think that they could because of the fact that they are paying more attention to them. But I just, at this moment, until they kind of are forced to, I don't think they will.
What'd you guys think of the match? The main event, the Raw.
Oh, it was really good, and there was some stuff that me and Paul were kind of talking about. I just think they did a lot of things here to kind of prove that they deserved it, and they kind of earned it just by that match. That they deserve that spotlight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, any match with a Sky Twister press, I'm sold.
Agreed on that one. That was pretty cool that she got to do that. And, now we have gone through the main event, the sort of main story that they had going through on this Raw. So we're going to kind of hit the other things that happened on this show. And another thing that was sort of a highlight as well is the Chris Jericho coming out with Kevin Owens. And they had a little bit of anywhere from a standoff to a hilarious little promo to everything else you want to call it. Of Jericho putting random people on the list as he walked by, and which was funny. And then he and Owens had a very funny promo with each other first, and then New Day came out because it was about the New Day. Jericho wants a Raw Tag Team Championship opportunity for Jericho, as you would expect. They're friends. If you want to keep being friends, at least in wrestling, you got to go for tag title shots. So this is what Jericho wants, and then he kind of alludes to at least I'm not calling you out for a Universal title shot, and there's that hint of a pause, and the crowd in LA was one of the moments that is really cool about this LA crowd, is that even though you got two heels going on here, Jericho still, of course, the megastar that he is, they want to see this match between Jericho and Kevin Owens, so that stage is sort of set, and of course remember that at one point it's supposed to be Jericho, Balor, and Owens for a triple threat at, I guess it would have been Hell in a Cell. So you take Rollins and put Balor in Balor's place, and you can still have that triple threat if they want to do it. You have a little ways before you get to Hell in a Cell. And then New Day come out, and I thought this was one of the best New Day segments they've had in a while. All five of these guys are so good. They're funny. Jericho putting each one of the New Day members on the list was great, and the crowd loved it every time he did it too, which was even funnier. And then they proceeded to have a match, sort of we're going to be the number one contenders after. If we win, Jericho KO would be the number one contenders after Sheamus and Cesaro get their title shot. New Day actually beat Jericho and Owens here, as you'd expect, thanks to Rollins multiple times distracting various guys. And that second one, I didn't get, if Rollins is not actually coming into the ring, why do you need to stop what you're doing to pay attention to him? Just keep going. That's the kind of stuff that always bothers me. Okay, he's on the apron. So what? Just keep going. It's, I know it's wrestling and I shouldn't pay attention to it that way, but it just bothers me.
Guys on the apron like to get grabby,
He was far away from the Rollins on that second one, though.
What if he had a move planned over there? You never know what that crazy Rollins is going to do.
Oh boy, yeah, this was very interesting, and At the end of the day, I'll say this: the match was fine. I enjoyed it for what it was worth. The Rollins thing is not a surprise. Coming out and all that. But it's nothing super special. But at the end of the day, it was entertaining. The crowd loved it. It was not terrible at all. So it was fine. I had no issues at all with it. But the one thing I will say is I really did, and I agree with Sean, I really did like the New Day and their banter between them and Kevin Owens, Jericho. It was pretty funny, to be honest with you. I actually kind of laughed out loud a few times, which is kind of rare lately. Lately, they have not been on target, and they've been kind of flat. So this was good. I didn't really, per se, enjoy the Jericho and Owen stuff with Ashton Kutcher and his little buddy. It was kind of silly, and silly in a bad way. In fact, I'll say my favorite part about it was Kevin Owens excusing himself from their stupid conversation to go get ready for the match. That was solid. I thought, that is the Kevin Owens I know. He's like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. I'm going to leave. I love that. And so saying all that makes me even more of a Kevin Owens fan. Besides that, I get why they did it. Celebrity stuff. They're in L.A. It makes sense. But I don't know if Ashton Kutcher is just not one of my favorite guys, or if I just don't think he did a great enough job here. But anyway, he was on commentary too on this, him and his friend, and they were okay. Actually, they were better on commentary than were in that backstage segment. But I get why WB does this stuff. You want some of that entertainment, rub. But the match was good though. Enjoy the match.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds entertaining. This sounds great. Jericho and Kevin Owens haven't, they're can't miss TV right now. They're so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Agreed. You do have two other tag team matches going on in the show that were relatively kept short. Sheamus and Cesaro beating Jobbers. Even though there were some issues here between the two guys, which is the thing that's been going on. Obviously, as they're the odd couple. And they, even when they arrived, they were sitting there yelling at each other, which was funny. I think there's a segment even with them and Stephanie and Foley as well, which this one I don't remember because I might have been away from the TV at that point.
Yeah.
And Anderson and Gallows also beat Golden Truth. So I guess this is the rebuilding of Anderson and Gallows. They're kind of going to go through everybody before they get to New Day again, or get to whoever's going to be the champions after New Day whenever they break that record, which I think they have to go all the way into December to break the record, if I'm not mistaken. So if they really plan on having them do that, that means they're not losing the belts for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the two, things you're talking about here, Sheamus and Cesaro, that thing was kind of funny. It's fine. Actually, for what little it means right now, it was good. And I enjoyed their back and forth, their banter, even with them talking to Foley. And, them complaining to Foley, Sheamus made me late, he got lost, and this is bickering. Basically, Foley kind of, says, I believe in you guys, all this great stuff. So it's all falling into the format. It's all going to continue. And we'll probably get more of this next week on Raw, and it's going to be a little bit long of a process, but eventually we also love each other and hug and all that stuff. Then you get to Golden Truth, and this is all about what? Hollywood, right? I mean, heck, they even had the little sing-along thing with Goldust's head bouncing on the words. So this is all L.A. This is all just for them getting excited. That was funny, fine, and everything. But at the end of the day, Gallows Anderson win like they should. Commentary talked a lot about these guys, kind of put over Gallows and Anderson like they should. But we need those guys to actually win important matches. So until that happens, this was fine, but nothing that I care about.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine it's going to be Squash City for a while for Anderson and Gallows, and you got to do something to make these guys relevant and important and give these people a reason to care about them, because you have made them look like chumps. And I don't know how the heck you do that with two big, tough guys, but they did. They found a way. So fixing that is priority numero uno right now.
Mm-hmm. And they better do it soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Where it should be priority number one, but we'll have to see how much they actually care about it. Just again, it really bothers me that they have treated. I mean, I love the fact that they use the word dominance to introduce these guys on the over the video package, and it's like, you got to be kidding yourself, right? Like, that is the least thing that they have done since they've gotten to WWE. Okay. As Larry points out in his review too, he's like, "Are we watching New Japan on Access? I don't know if we're watching Raw when we utter those words." Titus O'Neil announced that he has a new gimmick where he is now about the O'Neil brand. Well, guys, when you announce something new, that means that you're going to have a match, right? Well, he has a match with Sami Zayn. It doesn't even go 3 minutes. And Sami Zayn wins in a squash, pretty much. Wow. Just, how about that new gimmick?
It's silly. But what do you expect? I really wish Titus O'Neil had something better than this. He could make it good, but I just don't know if the backstage creative really wanted that to be good or what their plan is. But it's sad to me. I really want him to do well. But
this is like their really bad joke on the, how it's all about the Matt Hardy brand and the Hardy brand, and it's just the O'Neil brand, but we're just going to make it terrible? Is that...
It's an awful way of doing it if they are. The joke isn't funny. They need to make it funnier, whatever they can do. I don't know if, in this match, if Zayn botched it or one of these guys botched it, but that final move before the haluva kick, where he throws him into the exploder, was that a mess up? Was that a botch? Because he did not hit, his feet hit the, the corner, not his back.
They
don't always make it to the corner.
He's a bigger guy,
I was like, I wonder if that was a safety thing to make sure that Titus was safe.
Titus is a bigger guy. He can't crunch in the corner as well as the smaller guys can, and or an more experienced wrestler probably can. So
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
Fair enough. But what all that mattered is Sami Zayn did win, and I just feel bad for Titus.
Yeah, what if Sammy's getting a run on squash matches here to maybe put him in that maybe replace Finn in the triple threat that they had planned?
I'd be happy with it. I don't have a problem. I'd love to see Zayn in a big role.
I don't know. I think Rollins is still going to involve because he's going to be in that match.
That's fair. I was just curious. Like, I mean, we keep talking about it, but Sami Zayn still has that huge win over Kevin, and they've yet to do anything with it.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they don't tease it. If they don't tease maybe Zayn getting into that triple threat, but in the end of the day, maybe Rollins wins a qualifying match over him, and then Zayn is the next guy later down the road or something.
Mm.
Yeah, very true. I think after that, sorry for the smacking there. Sometimes, you try to be all professional about it, and I was not eating. It's one of those stupid things where you smack your lips and it happens. But I think the only thing we haven't talked about is the 2 cruiserweight matches that they had on this show, other than Braun Strowman squashing a guy, and then Braun Strowman is actually asked about what his future is, and he says, well, look, you better give me something that matters here, or there will be no next week. So that's interesting. Even though you have to wonder how valuable is Braun Strowman if you're having him wrestle job guys. But I guess we'll see how they deal with it next week. Other than, I am glad that we're getting a future for Braun Strowman. No Nia Jax on the show, though. That's a bit weird. I guess I understand they probably just wanted to focus on one woman's thing for tonight. I guess that's fine. And the other thing is the 2 cruiserweight matches. I did like the fact that they had video stuff for all 4 of these guys. They made the Brian Kendrick and TJ Perkins match pretty important. I swear they said it was for the title. I guess not. Because Brian Kendrick wins, so I guess now we're going to officially set up a title match at Hell in a Cell. And then we also have Tony Nese beating Rich Swann in about less than 5 minutes. It was a pretty spectacle of a match there, and the crowd actually responded to Tony Nese when he was beating up Swann, and they responded to Swann, so that's good as well.
Yeah, better than last week for sure. Because last week, they were not, really excited about that cruiserweights at all. But you got a crowd that does enjoy them, does respect them. And I'll say this, I love the fact that they gave TJP and Brian Kendrick a match towards the beginning of the show. That was something that was really intelligent because the crowd was still strong. They were excited about Raw. So that helped them really get into that match. Plus, it wasn't a bad match. It was really entertaining. I thought it was great. Loved Brian Kendrick going over in this one. Well, that was happy news for me. Go ahead.
No, I think Kendrick and Perkins are two great choices to send out there first. Their familiarity out there with the LA crowd. They both wrestled in PWG for a long period of time, so there's something there. I think Tony Nese and Rich Swann seems like filler, honestly.
Oh,
it is filler, but
yeah.
But I like Tony Nese getting the win here. I really like that, and once again, the crowd was kind of behind him. I don't know. I like the guy. So far, what I'm seeing, I'm really impressed. So being filler is fine, but I still did enjoy it.
Well, I mean, we got to be honest. If it wasn't because Anderson and Gallows have been treated so badly, and they didn't have the video package for them, we wouldn't really know that this is them trying to rebuild them. We would just take it as Anderson and Gallows having a filler 3-minute match. So I think it's a little bit unfair on the cruiserweights too, when they really should have stories for these guys, but they're probably only going to have one cruiserweight feud at a time. Because they're just now learning to deal with having more than one woman's feud at a time. So I think it's just one of these that they're going to have to slowly but surely kind of get into this thing of, okay, where is our title feud going, and are we going to have a secondary feud that kind of sets up who's going to be the next person for that title or this title or whatever. They did it for the tag titles, at least for the show, and that's good in a way. It's just it's all about progress and all being slow. And honestly, let's be honest here. Until this show, they hadn't really gotten anything positive for the cruiserweights yet, because you had the stupid crowd with the dumb chants the previous show and everything else. So they need more stuff like this where the crowd responds favorably to them. And then the more the crowd responds to them, the more they're going to get on TV. The less that the crowd cares about them, the more their stuff is going to feel like filler outside of the title feud.
Right, I mean, that's all fair points, but I mean, you couldn't at least, like, if you're going to go with the sport presentation, can we not get a ranking or something for these guys? I feel like that would help at least make these little quick matches that they're probably going to have pretty often matter just a hair bit more.
I would agree with you. It'd be nice if they did do a ranking, but then people are going to be like, oh, well, why don't you just do rankings for everything then? And it's or Vince is going to think it's that way just to make a point that we're not going to have it, because then we're going to have to do it for every single division, and it's, even though maybe it wouldn't be such a bad thing, it would make Raw different. Maybe you don't have to do it that way on SmackDown, but at least for Raw, you could have a ranking system to determine champions or number one contenders and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, I really question Vince's ideas on the cruiserweight. I wonder what he really wants to do with them, and we're early in this process, so it's hard for me to jump to conclusions. But the only thing that I will say is it would not surprise me if you continue down this road, because I don't really know that he's seeing this cruiserweight division as being something so important to the brand of Raw. I think it's an addition, But I don't feel like he feels like it's important. I think he's just like, you know, all those internet wrestling fans are going to love this because we're giving the young guys and the small guys a chance, and they can do all their crazy moves while I'm playing all this other stuff with the rest of the roster. You know, seems like he's kind of placating to the IWC a little bit. That's kind of his idea. Get more eyes on the product. This is just a help. It's nothing important on his plate. I hope
Honestly,
it changes.
I feel like it's the other way. That the way the crowd has reacted, that he feels like they don't deserve time because those IWC guys are the only ones that care about this. You know, the thing is too, like, just you have to, if they don't start reacting, how quickly are they going to go away from doing the thing with the purple ropes and all that kind of stuff? You know, that's something that makes them special right now. You take that special away, they're just going to be like any other thing on the show.
Fair point.
Yeah, it's true. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I just have my fears. I mean, either way you look at it, I think Vince is going to have more proof that it's something he needs to focus on, and hopefully people give him that proof that they love it, they like it.
Yeah, don't chant for other wrestlers while these matches are going on. That would be a big help. You know, not only to the wrestlers in the ring, but to Vince and everybody else. You know, granted, I mean, doing more than video packages for these guys would probably help a lot in that area. But again, if you're watching CWC or whatever, and you're going out there and you're probably not the ones that are chanting, but still, don't chant for other wrestlers. That's dumb.
Real quick, before you move out, the one idea that I think that they should go with is they're showing the Dusty Rhodes stuff on YouTube right now, the Dusty Rhodes Classic, get people pumped up for that. I think the CWC should continue on and not disappear from YouTube, continue showcasing these guys on YouTube, promote that. That way you have eyes on it on a regular basis. Even if you're showing dark matches with those guys, that way people are caring and people do get into it more. So that's just my thought.
The thing is, half the cruiserweight division's in part of that tag tournament. So
that's true.
You know.
That is, yeah. I'm just saying, maybe even if you get past the Dusty Rhodes Classic, you're still going to need that content. So.
Yeah, I mean, so that's going to be interesting how they deal with this. And also, you have Emma is coming back, but she's transitioning into a new character, Emelina.
I don't know if I like it.
And they showed a bunch of hot pictures of Emma. That's all they showed. They really didn't show a lot of her wrestling. It was Emma in bikinis, and I mean, not that I'm going to complain. I'm sure Zack Ryder's probably not happy about it, but you know.
I mean, a lot of those that they showed. I mean, she posts on Instagram and Twitter quite often with those kind of pictures. So I mean, it's out there.
Well, no, obviously it's out there. Obviously they're using official pictures and all that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't blame her. She's doing that because she knows WWE is all about how good you look and everything. So she's reminding them that, hey, don't forget I'm beautiful. Just, you know, you can use me. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting what they do with this. I'm glad that they're making it something and that she's going to have a new character. We'll have to see what this is all about.
Yeah, Emelina just is, I don't know. This sounds, Emma, just leave that alone. Just Emma. That sounds great. I don't know.
Yep.
There's a part of me that hopes she's a princess.
I'm sold already. Let's do this.
So that's it for Raw. I guess we just got to do a rating here.
Yeah, I didn't think this episode of Raw was bad at all. I kind of enjoyed it at parts. You know, I feel like the main event was something special. They promoted it all night long. I think that you got some decent cruiserweight matches here. I really enjoyed TJP and Brian Kendrick. Nothing over the top, but it was good. And then, of course, some of the other matches were decent. So saying all that, I think it's kind of average for me, and 7's around average. 6 is usually below average for me, so I'll say 7.
Yeah, I'll say 7. Having the great match at the end kind of bumps it up a little bit. You had mostly filler for the other matches, but you set up something for the cruiserweights, and then you set up something at least to kind of take for this show for the tag titles and other brewing things here in the underneath. So that's good for a show.
Yeah. So, what did Larry give it, Paul?
I think he gave it a 6.
He gave
Was
it
it
a
6?
7.
7.
Oh, he did. Okay. Well, there you go. So, all right. Well, that is Monday Night Raw for you this week, and of course, don't forget we're doing a SmackDown Live review tomorrow, so you don't want to miss that one. Plus, of course, we're going to do our normal episode 1 of Wrestling to the Max following this, and we'll have another one live on Thursday night. Of course, that'll be Friday on the download for you guys who are listening on the download. But besides that, we really
this week.
I know, man. And also, if you're listening, you don't want to miss this episode 1 we're going to have because of the fact that we are talking Bound for Glory and also All-Star Extravaganza that both happened this past weekend. So really some good content coming your way in that show. And, of course, we'll have some great stuff on episode 2 as well.
And Thursday, a preview of No Mercy as well.
Yeah.
So, and
Big
I
stuff.
think that will also be our King of Pro Wrestling preview because that show is on Monday morning. Or next Monday morning. So, again, good Lord, it seems like we get out of September.
Pay-per-views.
Yeah, it doesn't end, seriously.
No, it does. So, all right, guys. Well, we are going to get out of here. Don't forget, go to the W2Mnet.net. I'm messing up everything. Go W2M Network, and that's where you go subscribe for all our great shows. And don't forget, W2Mnet.com. Go there. Anyway, we'll see you guys down the road if you're not living life to the max.
Not living life at all.
You know it.
Peace.
Later.